Hi, my name's Claire. I'm part of the North America team at Queen's University Belfast.
Hello, my name is Glory. I am from California studying human rights law here at Queen's University Belfast.
And over the next couple of minutes, we're just going to give you a really quick introduction to some of the key things that you need to know if you're a US student who's interested in studying in the UK. So first of all, where can you study? So just a little geographical overview. There are 4 UK nations: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And as you can see, England, Scotland, and Wales are on mainland Great Britain, whereas Northern Ireland is on the island of Ireland. So that means that we are geographically Irish, but we are still politically and economically part of the UK. There are over 140 universities in the UK, and around 20,000 students from the US choose to study here every year. The UK is known for its high quality higher education system, and we're also home to what's called the Russell Group, which is a network of 24 research intensive universities, which is a little bit like the UK equivalent of the Ivy League, and Queen's University Belfast is one of them. So the first major difference between studying in the UK and the US is the length of your degree programme. Generally, UK undergraduate programmes take about 3 years. The exception to that would be Scotland, which takes 4. And also our master's degrees generally take 1 year versus 2 years in the US. So that means that in the UK, it is possible to take an undergraduate programme and a master's degree and graduate with both within 4 years. There are some differences in tuition cost as well. So in the UK, undergraduate classroom-based subjects tend to cost around $15,000 a year. This compares to most public in-state colleges, and it's usually cheaper than as a US student going to a public out-of-state college, and it's definitely a lot cheaper than going to a private college. So one surprising thing is that actually studying abroad in the UK can be a really affordable option for you. Also, master's degrees, they tend to cost from around $16,000 a year, although it varies, and this is sort of the cheaper end of the US master's tuition spectrum. And because of that shorter degree duration that I mentioned, that means that generally your costs will be lower if you choose to study in the UK. Costs of living do vary. London is the more expensive end of the spectrum for rent and cost of living, but actually Belfast is the cheapest student city in the UK, so it's really affordable. There are a few differences in our education style as well. So generally in admissions, our admissions philosophy is very academic in focus. So they'll look primarily at your grades versus in the US where they'll look at you holistically as a fit for the institution, taking into account extracurriculars as well. There's no requirement for GRE for master's students. And also you get to specialise in your chosen subject area a lot earlier than if you go to the US. There's no general ed, even at undergraduate level. So that means that if you're an undergraduate English major, there is no requirement for you to take math. So that's good if you're interested in your subject and your subject alone. This is because the UK places emphasis on depth of study versus breadth. And one final difference is there is a lot of self-directed study. So you'll be required to do a lot of independent learning outside of your core classes, and you might have slightly fewer contact hours as well. So I'm just going to hand over to Glory now to talk a little bit about student experience, visas, and healthcare.
Yeah, so the student experience for US students in the UK, there are some key differences. One being housing. So generally you would be in a private room if you were using university accommodation. And this is a key difference, whereas if you're in the US, you might be sharing a dorm room or an apartment. Another key difference is that the UK has students' unions, which essentially are elected students by other students who represent the interests of the broader student body. They also play a really key role in lots of social life events, providing coffee shop spaces and things like that. But one of the biggest differences and one of my favorite things about living in the UK is just your access to Ireland and the rest of Europe. So most flights to mainland Europe is 1 to 2 hours away, and even on a student budget, quite affordable. So a big process that you'll need to go through is the visa and immigration process. Thankfully, Brexit hasn't changed these requirements really for US students. So the university will still act as your visa sponsor, and on your student visa, you can work during term time up to 20 hours and up to 40 hours when you're not in term time. Another big benefit is the graduate route post-study work visa allowance. So from the summer of 2021, you will be allowed to work for up to 2 years in the UK, which is a really great perk. And lastly, healthcare, big difference between the US and the UK. So as a student, if you're staying here for longer than 6 months, you will have full access to the National Health Service, or the NHS, like a UK resident. So what you'll do is you'll pay an immigration health surcharge, which is currently around £624 a year, and you'll do this during the visa application process, so that when you arrive, you'll have full free access to the healthcare system, everything from doctor's visits, hospital stays, to obtaining prescriptions that you might need.
Thank you so much, Glory. So I hope that was helpful. But if you have any questions or you'd like some guidance about studying in the UK as a US student, and especially at Queen's University Belfast, our North America team are here to help you. We offer one-to-one sessions with prospective students every week. You can book a session via our website or by contacting us at northamerica@qub.ac.uk. Thank you.